Today, I fly ANA business class to Room to London Heathrow, sampling the amazing food in this incredible business class, and not to mention Japanese toilets. Hello and welcome to Tokyo Haneda Airport, where I've just landed in from Singapore on an underwhelming JAL flight. With a bright start to the day, things are looking up for this journey back to the UK on All Nippon Airways. But first, let's lounge. The International ANA lounge for business class passengers is certainly not to be sniffed at. Likewise, it's not comparable to the likes of Singapore Airlines or Cathay Pacific. With a functional design and plenty of seating, it's very much the kind of place you won't be arriving early for. My priority for this visit was to get a shower, something I knew can be a challenge at this lounge, with some being quoted hundreds of minutes to wait. As I arrived soon after the opening time, I was in there swiftly. As with almost everything in Japan, it was clean and packed with every single-use plastic wrapped item you could want or ever need. Once refreshed, I headed back to the canteen to grab some food, a basic but tasty Japanese affair consisting of a curry sauce with rice and noodles. Our flight to London today departed around 9:25 in the morning, with the airport having a pretty good view of the apron while waiting to board. Even if we couldn't exactly see our aircraft from here, boarding was undeniably swift thanks to the efficient processing, and soon enough we were about to step foot on one of the most coveted business class products in the world. Well, probably just after Qatar Airways. On this flight, I was situated in the smaller forward mini cabin, which consists of just 2 rows laid out in 1 seat at the window, 2 in the centre, or 1 at the window. These are easily some of the widest seats flying, at just shy of 1 metre or over 3 feet. For comparison, that's the equivalent to the width of 2 economy class seats on this very same plane. Length, however, is a bit more middle of the road at 1.8 metres long. Straight ahead is a 61cm 4K display that is a real highlight of this seat. If you thought this was great, wait until you have a sneak peek of the first class in the next cabin with its ginormous display and even more room. Although for most of the flight, access was strictly prohibited and monitored by the cabin crew. Of course, there's dedicated business class bathrooms to use throughout the flight, with a great selection of amenities and the all-essential bidet toilet. Once you've used it once, you'll never want to go back to those grimy Western toilets. We began the in-flight service with a small plastic cup of orange juice. A bit disappointing that this is plastic, but I suspect this is out of an abundance of caution than anything else. As is common in this part of the world, disposable slippers are provided, so you don't have to prance around the cabin with your shoes on the whole time. And if you happen to be visiting Tokyo Haneda Airport before the security area, I really recommend visiting that viewing deck up there to get some great views of the whole airfield. It's great to sit here with a coffee, or perhaps something a little stronger to watch what's going on. With beautiful skies during our departure, we managed to take a glimpse of the majestic Mount Fuji on the horizon, as this presentation of Japanese culture and sophistication began in our meal service. The cabin crew member was extremely engaging, encouraging me to try the Japanese drink, including the aromatic kabosu, a still soft drink, as well as the sake from Ishikawa Prefecture, an area 200 kilometers north of the industrious city of Nagoya. Sake can taste like petrol at times, particularly the likes that you get from 7-Eleven or Family Mart, but this one had a refined, balanced flavour which I quite enjoyed, even if I would be trolleyed after a few glasses. This served as all but a glimpse into the Japanese feast, or shoko, that we were about to try. The starter consisted of a colourful, flavourful and delicate zensai, a dish composed of 4 items including miso grilled chicken, pine nuts, bamboo shoots and carrots in blonde vinegar. This was then followed by the kobaji, or what ANA dubbed in English, tasty tidbits, which is quite a nice description, of smoked salmon and marinated duck. Then a main course, or shosai, or simmered beef served alongside steamed rice and pickles. Dessert was the same for both the international and the Japanese menu, a chocolate noisette cake, probably the part that was the least interesting to most people. This does sound like a lot of food, and trust me, it was, but the portions are similar to what you would get in a Japanese restaurant, with a balanced flavour palette, meaning you did not feel overly full, nor like you were about to pop on that plane. Since the closure of Siberian airspace to Ukrainian allied nations, including UK, Japan, Korea and other European nations, flights between East Asia and Europe have taken a much longer route, with some flights blocked close to 16 hours. Our flight today flew out east from Tokyo, heading across the North Pacific into Alaska, Canada, down through Iceland and into the UK airspace. With this being a daytime departure, it felt like we witnessed multiple sunrises and sunsets. And still I can't quite remember if that did happen or not. With me not sleeping and this phenomenon, this created a strange sense of not quite knowing how to feel on this flight, and part of it being in a bit of a haze because I didn't get any sleep. Even though I didn't get much sleep, I did manage to take a look at this lovely green faux leather amenity kit, created by the British brand Globetrotter. It was filled with Japanese brand Shiro amenities and a small selection of items like an eye mask and earplugs. It's a really lovely kit, and I still use it to this day to hold my hard drives because of how distinctive it is. Now let's take a closer tour of this seat. To the right of the display is the primary storage unit, with several compartments for storing small items like your wallet, purse and phone, as well as the use of a vanity mirror. The bottom of the unit is where the international power outlet and HDMI port is, with the door opening upwards to service any bulky chargers like the one I was using. Below this is a flat console to lay things on, and where the physical seat controls can be located. The standard issue remote control with a touchscreen can be found here, with capability like watching a different program on the remote to that of the television. Due to the age of this seat now, there is no Bluetooth nor USB-C outlets on this seat, like JAL's latest A350 product, but there is a conveniently located headphone jack and USB-A port to the right of the passenger. Underneath the display is the pull-out table and a small storage area that can only be used during flight. There are two criticisms I level at this seat. The first is the width of the leg rest, which is just over the size of a standard school ruler here in the UK at its narrowest point, i.e. it's not very wide. The other issue is there could do with being more secured storage area somewhere here. Whether that's a pull-out drawer or something where I could put, say, a laptop in, that would be a lot better. However, the first one I mentioned is a bit of a bigger problem. The windows have these super classy two-step electronic blinds with a privacy blind from who knows, which creates a more diffused light than the maximalist regular blind. It creates a really nice atmosphere and is more to be expected on quite a lot of first class products than in business class. How about those doors? One of the main features of this product. Unlike Q Suites, there is split design with one privacy screen popping up and another door sliding across. They do create a sense of privacy, but you are left with a sizable gap in the middle, presumably A for safety so the cabin crew can see through, or B more likely to make sure don't bash against each other. I do like the lighter wood colour scheme though, because it makes it feel a lot more open than say Qatar's Q Suite does. The doors are not electronically operated, but are relatively easy to close down with one hand. As for seat comfort, while I didn't sleep extensively on this flight, if at all, I did go into lay flat mode for most of it. There's a good mattress pad, light but effective blanket, and a comfy pillow to lay down on. Some may find the seat a bit hard, but it was good for me. The only real issue is that length, meaning someone of my height at 187 centimeters needs to either go in a diagonal or natal position to get some rest, which might not be the best solution for you. In-flight entertainment leaves me feeling a bit conflicted too. Starting with the positives, you have that beautiful screen and really nice user interface which is clear and easy to use. The 4K display really shines when you have some proper 4K content to watch on here, all of which is mostly documentary footage from the Japanese public broadcaster NHK. But that is the problem. Much of the content, which is already limited in its variety and selection, is not even in HD, which makes this screen overkill for its purpose. The entertainment system does allow you almost infinite control of this seat. Want to adjust your meal light to the perfect amount? You can do that. Change the seating comfort? Sorted. It's really cleverly designed and is very intuitive, which is quite a surprise if you've used any Japanese website or interface. They can be super clunky. My favorite feature of the whole thing though, that incredible onboard camera. It was beautiful to look at and gave incredible clarity when compared to what you find on many airlines across the globe. It was mesmerizing to view, especially when used in tandem with the highly interactive map. Prior to the flight, I knew that one could use HDMI on the display, so I decided to bring one along, and it did work. I was doing spreadsheets in the sky. I'm not sure who regularly uses this feature, but I'm glad it's here. The headphones provided are noise cancelling and made by Sony. They're light and comfortable. They do a decent job. Mid-flight, I decided to sample something from the snack menu. These were vegan ramen produced by the famous chain Ippudo, and they tasted delightful, so much so I had another bowl later in the flight. In terms of the size of the cabins, I was in the smaller one, but there's a much bigger cabin behind us on this flight, which just shows you how much premium demand there is on these European to Japan routes. Despite being an amazing flight, the daytime hours, lack of sleep combined with the less than stellar entertainment selection made it feel like I was on here for an eternity. As we came into UK airspace with 13 hours in the sky. A pre-landing meal of daisendon chicken was served. Listed under the international menu, I presume it's because it's from elsewhere in East Asia. It tasted fine, but not quite as exceptional as the other food I sampled. Since we now had all the cabin blinds open, I did notice a few areas for maintenance improvements. There's a couple of tears on the seats and quite a few large scratches and splashes around. I thought a Japanese airline might be a bit more on top of issues like these. So my final thoughts. Excellent, truly excellent. They don't get everything perfect, as pretty much nobody does, but the seat is almost one of the best out there for most people. Providing you're not too tall, you are going to appreciate the sheer amount of room it has, especially when you compare it to the likes of the 787 coffin Virgin Atlantic flies. If you can nab a seat on here with 60,000 Virgin points like I did, which can be like gold dust, it represents an amazing value. If you can do it now, before they end the partnership like they did with Singapore Airlines, which is just a rumour by the way. Biggest negative about ANA, they haven't rolled this product out on all their long-haul aircraft, but you can get it reliably on every Heathrow Haneda service, luckily for us Brits for once. What did you think about this flight? Would you spend 60,000 points to try it out? Drop me a comment down below on what you thought. If you want to learn more about Virgin Flying Club and how you could earn those points to get this flight, watch my series up there. And until next time, happy flightings.